Folks, the New Jersey Devils are off to an insane start. Not only are they 8-1-0, they have an 8-game winning streak and lead the entire NHL in points. So that makes me ask the question, just how good has this Devils team started? How much can this translate throughout the rest of the year? And will we finally see some playoff success starting next spring? Well, make sure you guys watch till the end as we talk about this hot Devils start and some of my first impressions so far. And hit that subscribe button if you're new for more hockey content just like this all throughout the year. Now, going back to my standings predictions before the year, which I think everybody's standings predictions look pretty rough right now. I had the Devils in a wild card spot in the East, mostly because I wasn't truly convinced how much the health would be there, because that always seems to be the issue with this Devils team. And it was looking to continue to be a problem with Jonathan Kovacevic being out for the first couple months of the season. I was just kind of hesitant on the Devils actually having that regular season success that they really should, because when this team is healthy, they have so many good weapons, so many great pieces that should be coming together. But boy howdy, really besides Kovacevic, everybody else has stayed relatively healthy so far, and sure, it is 9 games in, but we'll take what we can get. And again, as I'm recording, this is where the New Jersey Devils lie in the standings, with an 8-1-0 record, 16 points, and even though there's a couple of teams around the similar range for them, they have been the hottest team in the NHL with an 8-game winning streak. They lost the first game of the season, and then decided to go sicko mode directly after. Of course, when you have a record that good, you're going to have a pretty good goal differential, but I really appreciate for New Jersey how much they're scoring and not letting the puck inside their own net, with the Devils scoring the second most goals in the league so far, and in terms of the goals against, also not being too shabby, only 22 goals allowed through 9 games. I will say though, when we talk about the players here and who we can attribute a lot of the success to, I think having a fully 100% healthy Jack Hughes has done wonders for this Devils team. He's one of those few players that can just change the momentum of a game with the snap of his fingers, with just how dominant he can be when he is at his best. Of course, as the former first overall pick, we know what he is capable of, but so far I think he's starting to really show it. And again, as I'm recording this, that does need to be said, he's leading the NHL in goal scoring with 8 goals through 9 games. The assists, only 4 assists through 9 games. Might as well scratch him next game. But that combines for 12 points in 9 games so far and is a great start to the season, especially health-wise, which is, in my opinion, the most critical thing. You see over the past few seasons, he has never been able to get past 78 games, and the last time he even got there was back in 2023, where he put up 99 points and 43 goals. That's the capacity that Jack Hughes is capable of, but even then, we haven't seen him healthy for the last 2 seasons now. But now that he is fully healthy, knock on wood, he's going to have a monster year. My main concern with Hughes and the constant injuries we saw was if we'd see him change his game at all, play a bit more cautious, a bit more restrained, but so far it has been pedal to the metal every single shift, and I have been loving watching this guy play. Now, of course, Jesper Bratt is also one of the best players in the NHL too, and he's somebody that with the injuries to Hughes has kind of had to step up in his place, and he has been able to do so over the past few seasons, starting off again very well with 11 points, 4 goals through 9 games. But saying that Jesper Bratt is good isn't news whatsoever. We all know this, at least the true puck knowers do. But let's go on to a forward that I think really needs to prove himself this year for New Jersey, that I think has been able to have a great start so far, and that is Timo Meier. He was somebody that I was adoring back in the early 2020s, and you can see in his last full year with San Jose, 76 points in 77 games, 35 goals. When the Devils traded for him, they were hoping for this first line game-changing type of presence, and that was what Meier was trending to become. But in New Jersey, it kind of fell off a cliff just a little bit. He got back-to-back 50-plus point seasons in New Jersey, which is solid and good at times, but he wasn't really moving the needle as much as New Jersey really wanted him to. But so far through 9 games, he has 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points. I think he's been excellent in all 3 zones and just looking a lot more noticeable, looking a lot more consistent in the play. And I think in Meier's case, that was always kind of the issue, was him kind of floating by, being invisible in too many shifts back to back. But now I think we're starting to see Meier truly comfortable, and that is a game changer here. Another forward in that middle 6 that needed to prove himself and I think has gotten off to an explosive start, and that is Dawson Mercer, the former 18th overall pick back in 2020. He's another one that's kind of been up and down in New Jersey's system lately. He's somebody that in his first couple of years was really able to explode offensively, getting 42 points in his first season, then 56 points in his sophomore year. But these last couple of years, even though he's stayed relatively healthy, he's played 82 games back-to-back years, has been more around the 30-point range, getting 36 points, 19 goals last year, which is fine. It's okay, especially for where he was selected, but I think you kind of wanted more, especially for how high the expectations were after his first couple of seasons. wins. But now, like Meyer, has 3 goals, 8 points through 9 games, and that type of depth now has been really a positive development for New Jersey. Plus, you also have Arseny Gritsu coming in as a rookie, a very underrated selection from back in 2019, who's been toiling away in the KHL, getting better and better, and now has also exploded onto the scene. Not otherworldly production or anything, but for a rookie, 6 points, 2 goals in 9 games, I think he's translated especially well, and honestly, I think he's looked a little bit better in the NHL this year than he did in the KHL last year in terms of noticeability. He has been just really good in that Devils forward group, and thankfully is starting to get more and more of an opportunity. On the defensive side, the biggest story for me so far has been Simon Nemec, and sure, there is still a couple of times where the defensive mistakes do kind of shine through, but I think Nemec has been able to show what he is capable of most with that puck-moving ability, with the heads-up play that he can possess in the offensive zone, and so far through 9 games, after a 3-assist game, has 7 assists for 7 points. I just gotta say, for New Jersey, if they're able to unlock a Simon Nemec breakout season, that changes that defense completely. Obviously, has made the Kovacevic injury a little bit less heartbreaking, but if Nemec can continue to put up massive point totals, even though there's a couple defensive mistakes here and there, I think New Jersey will get by very well there. Just like Meyer, he was a bit of an X factor for me for the Devils coming in. Was he able to break out into the NHL, fully established coach's trust? And even though it's been slow to get there, especially to start out this season, I mean, he played like 23 minutes this last game. I mean, he's really gotten a big opportunity now and is starting to run away with it, which, thank goodness, man. As a second overall pick, it was pretty rough over these last couple of years to see how much he was trying his best, but just not there. Now it seems like he's fully arrived. And I wanted to shout out the goaltending here because Jake Allen has been sensational to start out this season for New Jersey. Currently 10th in terms of goals saved above expected among all NHL goaltenders. He's really been the main story because Jacob Markstrom came in, of course, as the starter again for the Devils and was looked at as their main guy. But this is why the Devils have this tandem. That's why they have somebody as dependable as Jake Allen in that backup role. Because as you can see, in 3 games, an .845 save percentage for Markstrom so far. And even though he hasn't been amazing for New Jersey at any time throughout his tenure, he's always been pretty consistently decent. So far, though, he just hasn't even been close to that level even. But Jake Allen, still at 35 years old, is kicking very well for himself. I mean, you can see in 6 games so far, he has a 1.93 goals against average, a .923 save percentage, and is 5-0-0 to start the year. I don't think this man has aged at all over the last 10 years. I'm not convinced of it. But that's kind of the strength of the Devils goaltending and that group in general, is that they have the replacements. They have the guys to come into these roles in case somebody gets injured or somebody needs to get replaced and be able to fill the role successfully. That's kind of been the Devils' MO for the past couple of years, still being able to be a decently successful team even with all of the adversity they've had to go through. Last year, of course, being a good example. But this season, I mean, you have, again, injuries to a big player like Kovacevic, and then a Simon Nemec is able to come in and play a pivotal role, play some pretty big minutes for this Devils team. Jake Allen now becoming really the starter for New Jersey in the wake of Markstrom struggles is kind of just another example of this team fighting through that adversity and coming out the other side pretty successful. But really, when we talk about the Devils and their start to the season, this is the start to the year and hopefully the season to come that I have always wanted out of New Jersey. I always thought they had like President's Trophy potential for the last couple of years, but for some reason or another, whether that be injuries or lack of consistency, haven't been able to get there. I thought the pieces, the core was always magnificent, but they were just one issue away from being that truly dominant team. Now, though, I don't think there's that issue anymore. Maybe Markstrom not being up to that great starter level has maybe become a bit of an issue that might plague them a bit more long term. But at the moment, Jake Allen is balling, and he's always kind of been a bit of a baller, so I don't really have that many reservations about it. Plus, goaltending is voodoo, and as long as New Jersey is 8-1-0 while Markstrom is struggling, imagine how good they're going to be when Markstrom's actually back to his form, which is around a pretty decent goaltender. I think for New Jersey, they can look forward to that as maybe something that could help them when the going gets a bit tougher middle way through the year. I will say, though, if New Jersey ends up being a President's Trophy contender, I will be happy to eat the crow there as a person that predicted to be a wildcard team. I think they've always had the pieces in place, the core in place, and now everything is starting to be put together. Plus, you have the good success stories and guys like Arseny Gritsu with Simon Nemec fully breaking out into a major role, and that's maybe more important than anything. This Devils team continues to churn up that young talent, and the drafting from the late 2010s to the early 2020s has continued to pay dividends. Especially Arseny Gritsuk, though, man. I have been such a fan of him for such a long time, and seeing him actually get a major role for this Devils team and be able to run away with it has just been magical to watch. He was somebody that I had pretty high hopes for as a decent rookie heading into the year, but he's also been able to blow past my expectations, as has a lot of this Devils team, to be honest with you. In terms of like the advanced stats or anything, the Devils aren't absolutely dominant or anything so far, but I just think the chemistry, the health, and the bond of that team so far, as corny as it is to say, has really been able to propel them into this major role. Plus, the rest of the Metro is kind of weird right now, and I think the Devils have kind of been able to maximize the potential there. Obviously, still a lot of season to go, but so far, so good, and I'm hoping the Devils are able to continue this, because them winning the Metro would just be such a fun story and would certainly give them a leg up in the playoffs. For the Devils, obviously, the regular season has been an inconsistency over the last few years, but they've always been a pretty big contender to make the playoffs. The big problem has been, what do they do once they get there? And I think this Devils team, so far at least, is playing a lot more defensive, a lot more situational, and those type of things will hopefully carry over to the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see, of course. A lot of season left to play, but all I know is that the Devils are incredibly fun, and I cannot wait to watch more of them throughout the course of this year. Now, before we go, I did want to make an update on the announcement I made a few weeks ago when I talked about bringing on some editors here to the channel to help out with videos. Well, this is the first video that is going to be helped out by an editor. Hello, Nathaniel. Thank you so much. And for the foreseeable future, at least, every single video will have an editor attached to it, which means hopefully we'll have a lot more quality and a lot more consistency within the videos. And I just try to bring as much of the entertainment factor as I can with you guys, and hopefully now that'll be at a very high level for every single video going forward. So I'm super excited about it. And also, before we go, a big shout out to the channel members here. Their names will be all up here on the screen. If you guys want to get exclusive videos every single week, plus exclusive member polls you guys can be a part of, and exclusive emoji you guys can use in the comments, it's just a couple bucks a month to help support the channel as well. Just click the join button or hit the link in the description down below to become a member and get access to all those extra perks. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, make sure that like button, hit that subscribe and hit the notification bell, and comment down below your thoughts on this Devils team. If you think they've been nasty, if you think they might be falling off in the future, and just your general thoughts on the vibes of this team right now and their playoff futures, perhaps. And of course, make sure you share it with all the hockey fans, all the Devils fans you guys know online, and click on this card for all of my hockey prospect talk in one playlist if you're interested in that. But I will see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic hockey day, and goodbye.